Joe Rogan. Why didn't Harris go on Joe Rogan? Do Democrats need their own Joe Rogan? Francesca, what is your reaction when you hear the words Joe Rogan?
The whole idea of a Joe Rogan of the left is silly, because Joe Rogan is who he is because he is just a mainstream ass character that speaks to like fragile men, and part of that is kind of punching left and also down and at women and at trans people and at people of color and mocking them. And that is not something that I think the left would want to replicate. However, I do think we have to understand that when someone is massive, go with that. Here, my example is this. If the Hak Tua girl wants to talk about socialism tomorrow, she's another white girl that got a massive podcast deal because they really spawn them like crazy. Go with it. Let Hak Tua girl have Noam Chomsky on.
Good morning, Owasso. This is Chad with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. Well, it seems that the left still has learned nothing. That was Mehdi Hassan and whatever her name's, Francesca something from the Young Turks. And again, they just attack people that they don't like. And like the topic of today, which kind of brings up the topic of today, is the left's Joe Rogan problem. And if you didn't know, Michelle Obama and Gavin Newsom have both started podcasts around the exact same time. They both have about 4 episodes of their shows out at the exact same. It's very suspicious. Like, this is them trying to replicate Joe Rogan, in my personal opinion. So they're like, we don't need our own Joe Rogan, yet they're making podcasts to try to make their own Joe Rogan. And they're both not doing very well at all, if you've checked out these podcasts. But I first wanted to hit on a topic that we briefly touched on yesterday first. Let me pull it up real quick. And it's this right here regarding the auto signature. Like, the auto signature that Biden was using is a robot that signs this thing. It's not like an e-document sign like how most people do things nowadays, where you click a couple of buttons and your signature shows up on, a document that you signed for like your insurance or for government paperwork or whatever. It's not that. It is literally, if we zoom in on this right here, it is a little robot that forges his signature. And then which brings up and stands to reason certain questions. Let me get rid of that. Was he even present in the room at the time of these signatures? That would at least be the bare minimum, in my opinion. And 2, we already know that his cognitive state was not in the best of shape. So did he actually know what he was signing? So that is why Trump was all about like, hey, we need to take away his pardons, because there's no way he pardoned and not excommunicated, but like extended or removed people from their sentences. Over 1,600 pardons in one day. There's no way. So, I mean, was he literally just in the room like comatose? I mean, questions need to be answered. And he at least, bare minimum, had to be in the room and knowing exactly what he was signing. There's no way that he was looking at every single one of these, tap a button, tap a button, tap a button. There's no way. So, anyway, but that's just what I wanted to touch again on real quick with that auto signature thing. But getting back to the show for today, I said I'll probably go into the Kennedy stuff tomorrow, because there's a lot to go through, and there's still information still being dropped. So didn't really want to get into that this morning. But again, now we're talking about the left's Joe Rogan problem, and here we got right here. This was from his podcast like 3 months ago now, and it was great. I loved this podcast. But this is them talking about how they lost Joe Rogan. The left had Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan was a lefty. We're talking Mr. Bernie Bro supporter Joe Rogan back during the 2016 election. And he didn't vote Trump until this most recent election. He never voted Trump before. And now he is one of the biggest enemies on the left, other than Elon Musk. So let's check this out.
Zero television advertising, and maybe you don't even need to raise that money, and maybe to your point, if you have the right message, maybe you just go straight direct.
Yeah,
there might be a completely different way to do this.
I think that's the only way now. And I think if you do pay people, it's not going to have the same impact.
Yeah.
You know, I think these Call Her Daddy shows and all these different shows that she went on, I mean, I'm sure they had an impact. Yeah. But I think that in the future, I'm sure they're scrambling to try to create their own version of this show. Right. This is one thing that keeps coming up, like we need our own Joe Rogan.
Right.
But they had me.
Well, number one, they had you. Number one, they had you. They had you and they drove you away. Is that number one? But they also have, you know, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN.
Right, but that doesn't work anymore. That's like, you know, like you're using smoke signals and everybody else has a cell phone.
Yeah, that's right.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's just, it's a bizarre time. It's still unclear whether or not celebrities got paid to endorse her.
Right.
Right? Have you?
They've mixed it up because there's like Oprah said. Oprah says her production company was paid to put on the production, but she was not paid for the interview.
Yeah, whatever.
But it was, you know, $2 million.
$2.5 million. So it was initially listed as $1 million, and then it turned out it was 2.5.
Right, and so
but like if I have a
her
production company,
right,
and my production company gets paid $2.5 million to endorse Trump.
Right.
And then I go, I didn't get any of that money.
Right.
People are like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Of course you got. It's your company. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And also, how much does it cost to do an event?
Yes.
How does it cost $2.5 million to put on an event? Like, are you feeding people gold sandwiches? Like, what are you doing? Like, how is that possible?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. And then because the fact
brings up a great point that the left astroturfs everything. I mean, just remember with the Kamala Harris interviews that she did on that Call Her Daddy and whatever that other one that she did, the Shay Shay podcast, she didn't go to them. They built a studio in Washington that they came to, that exact replica. Do you know how expensive that is? I mean, you'd think a flight over to their studio would have been a lot faster and cheaper than making a studio that looks exactly like their studio. This is how everything that the Democrats do seem to be astroturfed. Like, it looks like grass from afar, but the moment that you get down there and touch it, it's not real grass. It's all fake.
The fact that it's deliberately obfuscated, of course, is a clue as to
I just
what's
thought
happening.
The really bizarre one was the allegations, and I'd say unsubstantiated allegations. It's been alleged that Beyonce got $10 million and Lizzo got $3 million. Eminem got $1.8 million. Like, really?
Yeah. I think if you just like published all these numbers, these celebrities would all get so mad at each other that then you would learn everything.
Eminem got short.
Right.
Shorted.
Lizzo's furious right now, right?
Yeah.
Lizzo's probably listening to this right now being like, what?
Well, I wonder if Lizzo's like, I would say it, but why haven't they said it? Like, Beyonce has been mum about the whole thing. I think I would probably say, like, I didn't get any money to do that.
Yeah.
But that was a weird one, too, because a lot of people thought Beyonce was going to do a concert.
Right.
And she just went out there and talked. And everybody's like, what the? Because they all came to see a free Beyonce concert.
Yes.
And then she just said, I want to support Kamala Harris. And everybody's like, good. Now, if you like it, then you should have put a ring on it, right? Come on. We love your songs.
Yes.
That's what we're here for.
Yes.
I just didn't think that it was even possible that I didn't think a candidate would ever pay for an endorsement.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that it was even alleged.
Yeah. Well, and then there's the even stinkier version, arguably, which is all the social media influencer campaigns now. There's tremendous amount of payola.
That's for sure.
Right.
Because I know people personally who were approached multiple times and offered a substantial amount of money to post.
Yes. Again, astroturfing. The freaking like influencers, like that Harry Sisson kid, Brooklyn Dad Defiant. All these left-wing influencers are being paid through Democratic Party subsidiaries and NGOs to promote Democratic propaganda. I mean, how many times have I showed you L's, posting L's or whatever the heck it's called. See if I can't find one real quick. Where that Harry Sisson kid or somebody else has posted a freaking big L right there from just, let's see, I know we have one nearby. Yeah, right there. Like right there, look here. Brian Krasenstein. Breaking. President Trump walks into Marine One and head to Mar-a-Lago on the taxpayer dime. This trip will cost us $3.1 million, which could be used by the USAID to feed 710 starving children for a year. Then we have him from before, Brian Krasenstein from 2023. Biden went to the beach with his family on a weekend following Independence Day. President spends a good deal of time away from the White House. Smartphones exist. We have supercomputers of Bush era in our pockets. Give the dude a break. Rules for Trump, but not for Biden. This is the problem. Like this is what these guys do. This is what happens. And we've got so many more of these. Let's see if I can find one more before we call it. Where? I know I had another one of these. There it is, right there. Yeah, the one, that Harry Sisson kid. The White House is ignoring federal court, just doing whatever they want. Trump wants to be king, and MAGA will stand by and clap along like little servants. Constitutional crisis here. And then, again, from 2023, amazing. Biden just announced that he will invoke Higher Education Act to bypass the conservative majority on the Supreme Court. Their terrible ruling. He is fighting for student debt relief and won't give up on this battle. Biden can ignore courts. Trump can't. What's going on here? What is going on here? And then another thing that's apparently happened is, like, this kid is apparently getting exposed as a groomer now. Apparently he has been, like, texting, or at least been in the wheelhouse of, like, allegedly grooming underage kids to sending pictures. And there's a girl, forget who it is, but I'll try to find more on that, like, tomorrow or Friday, of her, like, exposing him. Because apparently they used to be dating or hook up or something. But yeah, she's got all the receipts of, like, their text threads about the shady stuff that this kid has been doing all along. And these are the Democratic heroes. These are the people that the Democrats prop up to be like, this person is the future of our party. And they're all, like, bad people, like extremely bad people. But we'll get back to what we're talking about more here. And let's see here. Yeah, so Gavin Newsom and Michelle Obama have started a podcast. And I'll show the trailer right here real quick for the Michelle Obama one.
I am Michelle.
And I am Craig.
And Craig here is my big brother. He's done a lot of everything in life: business, coaching, basketball, television. He's always been one of the very few people I can turn to whenever I need just about anything.
And you all know my sister Michelle, or Mish as our family has always called her.
We are so excited for you to listen to our brand new podcast. It's called IMO with Michelle Obama and Craig Robinson. Together, Craig and I are going to take your questions about the challenges you're grappling with in life, because let's be real, we are living through some really complicated and confusing times, and people are feeling more alone than ever. But what I've learned is that if you're feeling a certain kind of way, the reality is that others are probably feeling that way too. And when you take the time to be just a little vulnerable and open up about it, it's a whole lot easier to find the answers you're looking for.
Every week, we'll be joined by some of our friends, special guests, and experts who will keep us honest while also adding their own opinions to the mix.
Whether you're navigating the gray areas of marriage and raising kids, or dealing with a little friend drama, or even figuring out how to put yourself out there in the dating world. And I want young women to just practice asking for what you want. It's okay to hear no. It's okay to hear I don't love you like that.
There's nothing to be bored of. I mean, if you're a mother and you...
Okay, well, we get the picture on that. But we'll head over to the page, go to the videos, and as you can see, their most recent one only has 400 views. Now, can't talk that much, but I'm a small nobody in the middle of Owasso, Oklahoma. I don't even have 1,000 followers yet. So I barely break like 20, 30 views. I've had a couple videos break over 100. I even had one break over 1,000. Some of our shorts break well over the 10,000 marker. But here she is, Michelle Obama, supposedly the wife of one of the most popular presidents in history. And she's not breaking 400. She's barely breaking 400 views on her most recent podcast with Seth Rogen and his wife talking about Alzheimer's. Strange. Got a couple other ones here. I mean, look, her Her trailers got over 41,000. Her first podcast ever has over 200,000. But then that dipped by half on her second one. And then the third one goes to 30K. Or not, I'm sorry, that's not even a full episode or whatever. But that whatever this trailer is has 30K. Then there's this one, Opinion Plane, whatever this is. It's only a 5-minute video. It's got 16K. But it's not thriving. It's not looking very well for them right now. I mean, we're talking about, like, this is supposed to be their answer to the Joe Rogan. I mean, the fact that both her and Gavin Newsom have both done this at the exact same time is very weird. Very weird. So I do think that this is them trying to make their own Joe Rogan. So, I mean, you tell me what you think in the comments, but very suspicious. But then we have old Gavin Newsom right here. We'll pull up his channel. But his most popular show right now was his first one with Charlie Kirk. And Charlie Kirk was just dominating him on his show. I mean, he was just there to make fun of him, like, the entire time. And Gavin Newsom's playing it off like smarmy, like he's into it, like, yeah, we're friends. But Charlie Kirk was, like, dumping on him the entire time. Now, in a friendly manner, but, I mean, he was, like, telling him that all your stuff is terrible. Like I said, so his first podcast over almost breaking 1 million. I mean, look, it's got almost 800K. Then he brings on Steve Bannon, which, Steve Bannon's all right. He's got almost 300K. Then he brings on Michael Savage, only 6K. And then he brings on Tim Walz, and he's not even breaking 50K. So these podcasts are not going the way that I think they're wanting to. And I think we're going to just see these things, like, stagnate and stop. And it's clear from the Michelle Obama one, she's already pre-recorded a bunch of these. Like, I mean, you saw the trailer. The trailer was showing several different interviews going on. So they've already pre-recorded all these. These aren't live. These aren't like, hey, this is happening right now today. Like Joe Rogan's. Joe Rogan's are live every day. My show here is live every day. So it's kind of more AstroTurf. It's not natural. So even if I do a pre-recorded show, like, so a lot of our interviews are pre-recorded, but they're posted either that day or the following day. I don't, like, set it future effective for, like, a month or a year out. Maybe that's a better way to do it. Maybe, they know something I don't, but I'm more along the lines of I have a limited space on my editing laptops, and I need to get that crap off my computer quick. But, these people clearly have the funds to get a bunch of editors, and, clearly, they have well-lit studio settings, too. So they've got unlimited resources that I don't have as just me with, like, my small studio here with, like, my 3 cameras set up and my microphones. That's it. Shooting on OBS over here. But, yeah, it's just like that. But I wanted to show some of the shorts that they had here, and Charlie Kirk just wrecking Gavin Newsom. Just a couple of these shorts real quick.
Last night, trying to put my son to bed, he's like, no, Dad, what time? What time's Charlie gonna be here? What time? And I'm like, dude, you're in school tomorrow. He's 13. He's like, no. This morning, wakes up at 6 something. He's like, I'm coming. I'm like, he literally would not leave the house.
Did you let him take off school?
No, he did. Of course not. He's not here for a good reason. But the point is
you canceled school for like 2 years. One day.
The point is the point, which is you are making a damn dent.
Thank you. I'm kidding.
Last night, trying to.
That is an epic own, in my opinion. The man who closed down schools for like 1.5 to 2 years because of COVID wouldn't let his son take 1 day off to meet his hero. And that says something about him. If your own son thinks that Charlie Kirk and his policy positions are better than yours, that's saying something. But that's crazy. The fact that Gavin Newsom's son, like Charlie Kirk, is a fan of Charlie Kirk. Why are the Democrats are losing their children to Republicans now? That's hilarious. Oh, man alive. But then there's this one where they talk about book banning. He tries to get Charlie Charlie Kirk on book banning.
4,240 books or titles, libraries and schools were banned in 2023. Is that not, as a conservative?
Well, it depends.
Does that
I mean, like,
offend?
I think we can both agree pornography should not be taught to 9-year-olds.
Fair point.
Okay,
Fair.
so that's a book ban.
All right. Well, there were some other books.
Well, no.
Bill
Hold on.
O'Reilly's
that
book
was the
banned.
Moms for Liberty contention. Time out.
Yeah.
Like, I agree on Bill O'Reilly. The Moms for
100%. I mean, I'm going to let that finish out, but that is 100% the case. Like, it is these books that were teaching kids how to use. I mean, how many of those freaking like school board meetings have I shown you guys where they're reading the books that are in the school system at the school board meeting, and they arrest the parents or have them removed because they go, "You can't read that type of book out loud here at this public forum." He goes, "Then why is it available to our children?" Which is a fair question, is a completely fair question. If it is available to the children in the library at the school or the public library or the public schools, and you can't read it at the school board meeting, what in the heck is going on? That is absolutely ridiculous. We'll get back to Charlie Kirk's take on this.
for Liberty movement that you made a big thing of was just no porn to 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
We agree. So those books should be banned.
Well, okay.
So what we should do right now is every California school that has porn in their library should be kicked out.
Does that
is a
include the
book ban.
Bible?
Well, I wouldn't say the Song of Solomon is porn.
No, but I
it-
mean, some have made that point. Is that a fair point, or
I
is it
don't
offensive?
think that's fair
And as a
at
man
all.
of faith, and I deeply admire that about you.
Thank you.
Sincerely.
Yes, but no, I mean,
Yeah.
again, the Song of Solomon is rather risque.
No, it's
but what we're
very-
talking
so,
about
but-
in these books is not just the words; it's also the images. And again, your audience can look at the images themselves.
Okay.
It's highly graphic, but again, what
But it seems a banning binge.
They are. These are like graphic comic books, like written for children. Like the ones that he's talking about are all ones that have graphic images, and they're done like cartoons, like they're fun little cartoons for kids. Like, check these books out. Like, this book is gay. Like all the other ones. I mean, we have a whole video on talking about a bunch of these books that have those school board meetings on them. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, at next level, sort of cancel culture.
But why do you think moms are doing that? Do you think it's because they want to have mind control, or do you
No,
think
I
that they
think-
have come across
I think there's-
incident of highly provocative
I
material?
love moms, but this moms, I mean, we don't have to get into Moms for Liberty. It
I mean, you
seems
brought up the book bans,
deeply,
though. I mean-
deeply.
Again, he brings it up. Charlie Kirk points out a massive flaw in it, and then he's like, "Oh, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into that." Yeah, I wouldn't want to get into that either, because you're going to get wrecked on that. He's getting wrecked on it right now.
Organized for a larger agenda, but that's my humble opinion.
No, but let me just kind of complete the point. Is that it's easy to just call it kind of a book ban, but when you actually have to read some of these books, it will take your breath away of some of this stuff, right? You're like, okay, we're teaching a 10-year-old how to put a condom on.
I know. I just have a problem with who the hell is going to decide that? Government? I mean, Ron DeSantis is going to decide what I can read or say
Well, I mean,
in the boardroom in the classroom.
This is the exercise of politics, though.
Yeah.
The exercise of politics is the highest form of community because it blends morality and sociability. So what we do is we have discussion and elections, and we have boards and commissions, right? And we as a people say, okay, no porn for 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
And that's politics, right?
Decent answer right there, but the correct answer there is the parents have the right to decide that for their children. If there is a book that is highly graphic and showing children how to use adult apps or how to use adult toys, there's some problems going on. You live in a sick society where you want to hand out that type of stuff to children. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he did kind of the political answer, trying to stay friendly with Gavin Newsom, so that way he probably gets invited back on or whatever. They debate again in the future. But weak answer right there, in my opinion. Like, it is the parents. I mean, I think parents should just immediately be pulling their kids out of school if they have teachers who are immediately approving to that or put that reading material on for like required reading or anything like that. That is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, let's check out his. So yeah, again, we already looked at this, but yeah, the Charlie Kirk one is the most popular one right now. His are not going as hot either. They're not doing too well. So here's the left's response to these things, and it's not going very well. And they're also not great debaters either, as we just saw right there from Gavin Newsom. If you put these people in long-form content against a political adversary that's conservative, they get ragdolled. He got verbally ragdolled right there. And that's how I'll end out the video with this guy, this street debater, coming on and debating one of the big lefties podcaster right now, Sam Cedar. That's how I'll end the show, but we'll go over some memes real quick before I call it a day, though. But yeah, this is Joe Rogan. This is Joe Rogan's experience right here with politics. This should say how Joe Rogan became right-wing. Said you have the guy, it's just the little guy in the middle, is like the guy that you have the blue, the white, and then the red. And just like, both sides make some good points. And then the blue guy gets all pissed off, shoves him, and then the guys on the right go, hey, are you all right? And he's like, yeah, thanks. And then, why are you siding with the bad guys? That is the left. The left's political violence and rhetoric is driving people to the right. That's why Trump won the election. Because the left is going absolutely insane. I don't know how many times we have to go over this stuff. Then we have a cartoon from SKS Comics. And it's Elon Musk and Trump saving America from the Democrats. And which that is the case. Like, Elon just saved those astronauts that Biden left stranded in space. For like what? Like 2 or 3 years now? It's crazy. Then, of course, like, look at them overreacting and refusing to buy Bud Light. And then them now. I'm burning every Tesla I see to the ground. That is actually what's going on right now, and it is hilarious. Then there's this one right here, another one from SKS Cartoons. How dare you stop climate change? And then someone, like, gasses her with all the carbon emissions, and it's a Democrat boycotting Tesla. Oh, I love it. And then here it is. Yeah, the Democrats abandoned these astronauts, and they were rescued by MAGA. Not wrong. Not wrong. Because if you remember, Elon Musk, there was talks of Elon Musk, between him and Biden before he endorsed Trump about rescuing those astronauts. And then after Elon endorsed Trump, Biden went radio silent and stopped talking to Musk because he couldn't give a Trump supporter a win, even if it was saving lives. That's how dark the Biden administration was. Crazy. Yeah.
Right. You know, a moment where the country should celebrate the fact that you were able to rescue them, that it happened successfully in spite of the difficulty, the challenges, and the danger. But I just want to clarify on the issue of whether or not you had offered to send this rocket to space to rescue these astronauts sooner to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I heard somebody earlier today say, in fact, that didn't happen when I believe it did.
No, we definitely offered to return the astronauts earlier. There's no question about that. The astronauts were only supposed to be there for 8 days, and they've been there for almost 10 months. So obviously that doesn't make any sense. SpaceX could have brought the astronauts back after a few months at most, and we made that offer to the Biden administration. It was rejected for political reasons, and that's just a fact.
Yep. Boom. That's evil. That is evil. That you won't talk with your political opponents to save people's lives is evil. This is why I don't understand how anybody can be still a part of the Democratic Party. I mean, clearly there's not a lot left because, like, the Democratic Party people are leaving and abandoning it in droves. But, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's wild. Absolutely wild. But yeah, there's some of the JFK stuff. We'll be talking about that tomorrow. I'll be either tomorrow or Friday for sure. Left is burning Tesla. Yeah, the left is burning Teslas, and Elon is saving stranded astronauts. You don't have to love the guy, but you can't hate him for doing something like that. But that's pretty much all I've got for today. Let me go ahead and start getting ready and wrapping the show up real quick. There we go. Full screen. There we go. All right. Well, again, I'll end with that video of a left-wing podcaster, like a guy who is like tries to debate conservatives on a regular basis in short-form content on his own terms, coming onto a show where he can't hide from people and hide his opinions, and it's very open forum, getting ragdolled by this random street debater. And I'll end it out with that. But this is why the left refuses to come on and debate people on the right regularly. So check this out. And again, this is Chad with Owasso Live. This was the Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. And that's all I've got for you today. I'll see you on the next one. God bless you. See you later, everybody.
Hey.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Okay, so I would like to touch on the religious fundamentalist aspect.
Yeah.
Are you an atheist?
I'm a Reformed Jew. I don't have a strong belief in the existence of God, but I don't think that religion in and of itself is bad.
Okay, so what's wrong with religious fundamentalists? So like when you said trans rights and women's rights or something like that?
Well, the problem I have with religious fundamentalists, and really more, I guess it's really theocrats, is that they want to impose their morality that comes from their religion on the rest of us, and I don't. But
morality, from your view, is going to be a preference, right? It's not morality; it's a preference. So morality without a foundation is going to reduce you to a preference.
Well, I have a foundation for my morality.
Which is what?
It's a humanist vision of what basically creates as little suffering as possible for as many people.
Okay, so you're like a consequentialist? Utilitarian?
I don't really bother myself with being a consequentialist or a utilitarian.
It's always going to reduce you to a preference. So if you say that killing is wrong and I say it's right, you would really have no contention with that.
Well, no, I don't base my understanding of civil society on religion. And so we have a civil society. Okay. We have laws that we have decided as a society in a democratic way. And for some people, it's okay for it to be informed by their religion. That's okay.
Okay, perfect. So if tomorrow society comes together and we say, hey, trans folks don't deserve rights, you would be okay with that?
No, I would be against it, but I mean it would be
morally right under your view.
Not morally right. No. I'm not talking about morals.
Okay,
here.
So here's where I'm getting to, right? Religious foundations provide an ethical framework for one to live their life off.
I believe you can have an ethical framework without religion.
And if we take the leftist view to its logical tail end, to its extreme view, you have low reproductive birth rates. You have a reproductive dead end, so two men together can't reproduce unless they have to take from a healthy straight couple. Religion provides this foundation where you do prioritize the nuclear family.
So do you have a problem with gay people being married?
It's not that I have a problem. I just don't see a justification for why they ought to be gay outside of it just feels good. Can you give me another justification for it?
Well, I think maybe that's the way they were born.
Okay, what about pedophiles? Are they born that way?
They may be, yeah.
Okay, so should we let a pedophile off the hook since they were born that way?
No, I think we as a society has decided...
Should implement duties to prevent them from acting on that innate urge, correct?
Well, I think between consenting adults, it's a different thing than...
Okay, so you're okay with a 45-year-old dad with a 19-year-old daughter as well? Incest?
No.
If they consent, you're okay with that?
No, I think society has also determined that it's not beneficial.
Right, there's duties and obligations that we have. So religion provides those duties. Life isn't about freedom and exercising what you want.
I mean, well, you want to impose your religious doctrine on me, and I don't want that.
You just admitted we need duties. We have a responsibility as a society to keep us functioning, to keep us thriving. Your leftist view, the liberal view, doesn't provide anything besides it just makes me feel good. Religion does. So what's your argument?